Okay, Shalom Aleichem. We're in the week of Teztaveh. This is the week after this week will be Purim, next Sunday, in the beginning of Kisisa, but now we're in Teztaveh. Now, Ato Teztaveh, you command the Bnei Yisrael. We finished with building the Mishkan with all the Kelim. Now we're talking about the big day kahuna, the garments of the Kohen, the 8 garments, you know? We're talking about that, Teztaveh. And it starts out, Ato you. Teztaveh commands Bnei Yisrael. Hashem is talking to Moshe. Isn't that funny that you start and you address Moshe non-respectfully? Ve'ato. And you. Teztaveh command Bnei Yisrael. Why don't you use his name? This is the only parsha in the Torah where Moshe's name is not mentioned. Well, that statement was made to me when I was a little kid in the 3rd grade, 4th grade by a Rabbi. And it's not true, because in Bereshit is not mentioned. But the Rebbe expected you to understand that. Moshe wasn't created yet. And the Devarim, which is a repetition of the information, it's not used in every Sedra. But in Shemos, Vayikra, Bamidbar, there's no Sedra of all those, who knows how many, 30, 40 Sedras, that is, Moshe's name is mentioned, everyone except this one. Do you know why? This week of Teztaveh always comes out of Moshe Rabbeinu's Yard site. Sunday this week was the Zayin Adar when Moshe was nifter. Since he disappeared from the world on that day, Zayin Adar, which comes out of the week of Teztaveh, so the Parsha also doesn't have his name in it. He disappears from the Parsha. Interesting, huh? So some calendar guy person will say, Rabbi, once in 50 years, Moshe's Yad said does not come out in Teztaveh. It comes out before or after. Well, it's less than that. In a leap year, every 3 years, you know, we have one extra month. We have the Zayin Adar a month later. Well, we have 2 Zayin Adars. Well, okay. But besides the leap years, every single year where there is Teztaveh is Zayin Adar. So, because Moshe's Nistalek disappeared from the world, when Zayin Adar, this year comes out Sunday, was the Parsha also has no name in it. That's one answer. Number 2, Hashem was angry with Moshe because he said, if you don't forgive the Jewish people, take my name out of the book, I quit. Hashem was a little bit angry. He talked to Hashem. Hashem agreed to Moshe, did not destroy the Klal Yisrael, and he didn't take Moshe's name out of the Sefer Torah. But he didn't like the answer, it was a little too sharp, so he took it out of this Sedra. Why this Sedra? Because Moshe said, wipe me out of the book that you have written. The whole Torah is one book. I know, Sifrecha, Sefer Chof. The 20th Parsha from Bereshit is this one, bingo. Ato, Teztaveh, is the 20th. Sifra Chof, Chof is 20. Interesting, right? Another answer. There's 101 Pesukim in this Parsha. And if you take the Miloi of Moshe's name, it's 101. You write Mem, Shin, Hey, but then you write out the letter Mem. Mem has two Mem, so they had to write Mem is Mem, Mem. And Shin is Shin, Yud, Nun. And Hey is Hey, Yud. If you add up the Miloi, not the Rosh Hashanah, you come out to 110. And the Parsha is 110. And Michael, the protecting angel of Yisrael, comes out to Gematria 110. Moshe is the protecting person down here, and Michael is in Shemayim. So Michael is 110, there's 110 Pesukim, and Moshe, the Miloi, the fill-up of Moshe's name, is 110, which means Moshe's name is in every pasuk of the Torah, but you don't see it. Of this Parsha, but you don't see it. Just like in the Megillus Esther, God's name is there in every pasuk, but you don't see it. Not in every pasuk, but many times. It's called Melech. When it says Melech Shlomo, Melech HaKashveros, that's him. But Melech is Hashem. And there's another sefer in the Torah, where there is, Hashem's name is not there. Hashem is not in Megillus Esther, but it's the code word Melech, and it's not in Shir HaShirim, because it's in the code word Shlomo. Now, since we're talking about that, where in the Torah is Aaron's name not mentioned? Very good. The first Sedra of Vayikra that talks about Korbanos, and the Korbanos administered by Kohanim, and he's a Kohen Gadol, and it says there, By Yikra. That's about Kabbalas. You should, I think Aaron's name should be mentioned, not mentioned at all. Punishment for Aaron, because he did the Edom. So Moshe said to Hashem, it's not fair what you're doing. Why don't you use olive wood to be burnt on the Mizbeach? A lot of wood you use to burn the meat, you need wood. Why don't you use olive wood or grapevine branches? So Hashem says you can't, because from the olive wood tree you get olives, and from the grapevine you get grapes, you make wine from that. It's not derech eretz to destroy the parents, the forebearers, because the product is serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Same thing here he says. Why do you want the children of Aaron are serving in the base of English? How can you embarrass Aaron? Hashem said, okay. The next said after Vayikod Tzab. Right away, Tzab is Aaron. Second word. Tzab is Aaron. Command Aaron. So he put it back. So Moshe's name is not at Teztaveh, and Aaron's name is not in the first Parshas Vayikra, and Hashem's name is not in Megillas Esther. Its code name called Melech, and it's not in Shir Hashirim because of the code name Shlomo. And it's interesting, huh? And there's a reason for all these things. By Yikra, because Hashem was angry with Aaron. Here, because he was angry with Moshe. Shlomo, who wrote the Shir Hashirim, didn't want Hashem's name in Shir Hashirim. You know why? Because the fools of the world will think Shir Hashirim, which looks like a love song between a man and a woman, they'll think it means a man and a woman. Has nothing to do with man and women. Have to do with the neshama searching for God. So the fools of the world, well, whenever God's name would come there, they would take it out and put in some other lover's name. Shlomo, who was so wise, who wrote Shir Hashirim, understood that, therefore he didn't put in this so-called love story God's name. And in Megillas Esther, God's name is not there, which we're going to read soon. Megillas Esther is called Hamelach, code word, because everybody hated Haman, not only Jews. He was a dictator, a hard-handed ruler. Everybody hated him. When he got killed, everybody was happy. And Mordechai and Esther sent a Megillas Esther to all the cities and all the towns and all the counties of the 127 countries, from Hodu till Kush, India till Kush to Africa. And if he would have put Hashem's name in, they would get this thing, wipe out Hashem's name, and put in the name of their God, who brought this great miracle, who destroyed this evil man. So Mordechai and Esther didn't put in Hashem's name at all. So they won't erase any word of the Megillah. It'll just say Hamelach, but we know what it means. So, Ato Teztaveh as B'nai Yisrael. They shall take to you Shemen Zayizach, pure olive oil, kassis, squeezed lama'or, for the lighting of the menorah. The house near Talmud, to have it there on all the time, not all the time, but constantly. Every night it was lit. It lit 12 hours during the night, went out in the morning. Talmud here means continuously every single evening. Like we have Shabbos continuously every Friday afternoon. But the lechem haponim, the showbread, that's on the shulchan, the golden shulchan, that also says Talmud. But that doesn't mean continuously. That means constantly. Every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every second, that shulchan must have lechem upon them on it. Friday afternoon when they put in the new 12 challahs, they push the old ones off like that. So there was never 1 second, 1 nanosecond, that there was no lechem upon him on the shulchan. That Talmud means continuously. Here, Talmud means that was constantly. Every second. Here it's continuously. Every evening we light it. Like every Friday afternoon is Shabbos. Every once a year it's a Pesach. Every once a year it's Purim. That's continuously. It happens in a certain pattern. Now the word kassis, squeezed, means the menorah is going to light the 40 years in the midbar, and it's going to light in the menorah guaranteed for 400. In the base of Mikdash, the first one 410, and the second one 420. How do you know that? Because it's in the word kassis. Kas 420. Yud Saf 410. That's how long the first base of Mikdash will last. 410. The second 420. That's just like last week we had the word V'shechanti v'sochem, I will dwell amongst you. V'shochan, I will dwell. T, Tov Yud, 410. And in that word you find the letters V'sheni in the second base of English, Tov Chaf, 420. It's in the word V'shechanti. Now, before we get into the details of Teztaveh, let me tell you an overall picture of Teztaveh. Some overall concepts about Teztaveh. It is about inaugurating Aaron and his 4 sons, make the big day kahuna, the 8 begodim. The beged on top is the mitznefes, a turban of linen only. Mitznefes, it comes to a flat. Comes to a flat. That's the kohen gadol. The kohen hedi comes to a point. They're all made out of 32 amos, 64 feet of linen. Why 32? Because 32 is lave. When you serve as the kohen gadol, the most honored person next to the king, you better take it to heart. Know what you're doing. Don't put on a show. Be a lave and bow. You better bow. Be a master of what your job is. Any misstep could cost you your life. Therefore, you have to put your lave into it, your intelligence, and be a master, bow of the subject. Otherwise, you make a mistake. 32. The kevesh that goes up to the mizbeach is also 32 amos, 64 feet. When you bring a carbon, you better be sincere and not bluff it. Put your lave into it. Lave is 32. So you have 8 begodim. The mitznefes, which is for the kohen gadol flat. He already reached the top. And for the kohen head, he has to yet grow, so it's pointed. And then you have the plate on the head called the tzitz, that has on it Kodesh Lashem. The Kodesh belongs to God, not that he's holy to God. Every Jew is holy. Kodesh, the Mishkan, belongs to Hashem. Kodesh Lashem. And then you have the Choshen, the breastplate with 12 names on it, 12 stones, but each one has the name of one of the Shvatim. And the Choshen is a piece of material with 12 settings for 12 stones, 3 stones, 3, 3, 3, 3 columns of 4 rows, 3, 6, 9, 12. And at every stone, we do not know if the stones were square, rectangle, oval, or round. We don't know if they were domed, cabochons, or if they were flat. We have no idea. But we know they were different colors. And everyone had the name. The first one on top, on the upper right, had Ruvain, then Shimon, then Levi, then like that. All the way down, all 12 names. And we know that the Choshen, it was a handspan, this much, from here to here, about 9 inches. One side and the other was square, 9 inches by 9 inches, about 9 inches by 9 inches. It was a square piece of material made out of shatnez, linen, blue wool, red wool, purple, and linen all woven together, and had some gold threads in it. And that was a zeres, a half an amma, 9 inches by 1 in, square, perfectly square. And it was kaful, opened up. Inside they put a piece of parchment with Hashem's name on it, the name that's made up of 72 letters. Maybe it didn't have 72 letters. Maybe it only had 4, Yud, K, Vav, K. Because if you write out the word Yud, Yud, Vav, Daled, and Hey, Hey, Yud, and Vav, Vav, Yud, Vav, and Hey, Aleph, you get 72. And that was inside. So the letters on the letters engraved in the stone had up 72 letters. But if you add up Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Yosef, and Yamin, you only have 50. Where'd you get the other 22? So they made it work out. Every single stone has 6 letters. Reuven is 5, so you have to put in 1 other letter. Shimon is 5, you have to put in 1 other letter. Levi has 3, you got to put in 3. So what did they do? Where did they get the 22 letters from? Because the Shvatim is 50. And how do you get 22? You got to get it from another source. After the names of Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, you start putting in the letters of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Shiftei Yisrael. And for Reuben had these 1 letters, you put in the Aleph of Avram after the word Reuben. And Shimon needs 1 letter, you put in the Beis, the 2nd letter of Avraham. Levi needs 3, you put in Reish Hey Mem, Roham. And that's how you go through the whole thing. And then you get 72 letters, and the extra word is Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Shiftei Yisrael. That's 22, and 22 and 50 is 72, and inside is the Shem Hashem of 72 letters, and maybe just Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is 72. If you write it all out, Yud, Vav, Dali, Yud, Hey Yud, and Vav, Yud, Vav, and Hey Yud, 72. So, now isn't that interesting? But Yaakov was blessing his children. He says, I want to tell you the case, the end when Mashiach is coming, but I can't do it. Because I'm looking at your names, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Yosef, and Yamin. I don't see a kuf, and I don't see a tzadi. You don't have a kuf and a tzadi, I can't give it to you. I can't tell you the case. They said, Tati, you're right, but our names also don't contain a ches and a tes. Chet, sin. So in the words, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Shiftei Yisrael, you got those 4 letters. Yitzchak, Tzadi, Ches, Kuf, and Shiftei, a Tes. There you got it. Kal, Kuf, Tzadi, Ches, Tes. You got 72, you got Kates, you got Chet, you got everything. All the letters have to be there, of the Aleph Beis. And it was coupled. The thing was a pouch closed over, exactly a zeros, a span by a span, 9, 9. Hypotenuse is about 15. Okay, you work that out. Anyhow, and it was square, and its choshen is a breastplate with the 12 stones on it, and chosan with the soft means to protect. It protected Kal Yisrael. That's why a chosan, a groom, protects his wife. A choshen is a protector. Choshen mishpat. It protects you by giving you the right decision. When the king had a question, he went to the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol asked Hashem, and the letters lit up. Okay, Rabbi said we're very short now. We have to cut it short because something is coming up. We have to go live on air. Hidabrut Radio. That's at Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. 97.5.